Hello, hi everybody. Bom dia. If you have Brazilian roots, this is Fred from Metallops TV in France and metallops.com. And it's a great honor to have Incite as guest. And one member, the frontman, is going to do himself. What's your name and what do you do, please, in Incite band?
What's up, metalheads? This is Richie Cavalera of the band Incite. I sing for him. I'm the hype man. I get you all fired up, and we have a good time together.
Okay.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
yeah, it's a great honor. I think it's the first time in video, sure, but not the first time we interviewed you. So we are going to speak because Insight exists, in fact, since 2004, and you are going to release your seven studio album.
Yep, that's
So
correct.
old band,
Yeah, yeah.
10,
I mean,
20
we've
years.
we've been around. We've toured a whole bunch. We've hit France quite a few times. We've had some great shows up there. Toulouse, Lille, Montpellier. So
Yeah,
many good times. We always have a killer shows with the French metalheads. But yeah, we've been doing it a minute. We've had a band that's steadily growing
yeah,
with each album. We've got a killer new record label with
yeah,
us, and I
yeah.
think now
It
the
helps.
world is going to know what's up with Insight.
Yeah. How do you? I have a lot of questions. Some more personal questions to better know you and Insight, of course, but you at the origin of the foundation of Insight. We can say you play thrash, groove metal, modern metal. You agree with that? The-
I mean, we just call it heavy metal. It's a music
yes.
that can take senses from all the genres.
Yeah.
We're not a thrash band because that's like overkill. We're not
Ah, yeah.
we just kind of are something unique, I think, and that's why people with this album specifically are catching on to our style.
Yeah.
It's not one band you can be like, oh, that's exactly who they sound like, because it's just not. And that's the cool thing about us. We just like influences from all over the place.
Yeah, different senses. But in fact, you create your own stuff, your own work, and with this band Insight. But we have to say, with the name, you are the stepson of Max Cavalera and the son of Gloria Cavalera. Is it hard sometimes on your shoulders to support this name, or is it help? Is it help of
Um,
God to help you in your career, of course, but every day and do you have a feeling in some pressure sometimes to be the stepson of Max?
no, I think it's. I'm just honored, to be able to carry on a legacy of the Cavalera name in metal.
Yeah,
Max has been doing it a long time. Igor, Gloria,
there
a
you go.
long time, and they want this to continue. And I found my love for music right when I was born, man. It was like I come home from the hospital, and my mom takes me to,
Yeah,
the metal bar, and Rob Halford is there to like throw horns up at me, and it just kind of set me on this ride of, bands like Atrophy and Sacred Reich and these early metal bands that were coming out of Arizona, were big inspirations and role
yeah, of course.
models for my guidance, and uh through the years I just I made this band and I worked hard. I did things my own way. I didn't sit there and be like, I'm Richie Cavalera, you guys owe me this. I think that's one thing why I think the band has been around so long and has so much respect in the metal world, is because of how I've carried myself, how I've carried this band. And you
Yeah.
don't see a bunch of guys just like, oh, this is who we are, fuck you, we can do whatever we want. It's more like, yo, those dudes are awesome, they work hard, and they're carrying on a great name. And
Yeah.
that's the honor to me, for sure.
And you make your proofs. You make your job and your own way. You own create your own path, and you make your proofs on the metal scene, and you don't care of the rest. And now you make your. It's because, yeah, I think. Okay. Other more personal question: is it true that it's you who inspired the cover artwork of Atrophy when you were a baby for the Violent of Nature cover, thrash metal band from America? Is it true or not? Like the baby a bit in Nevermind Nirvana, but in the cover you
Yeah,
paint.
that's definitely
True.
me. It's again why I kind of just like loved metal, and it became like what I wanted to do. Was
Okay.
that band was a huge part.
Okay. And do you still listen Atrophy band?
Yeah, actually, I've
They are still active.
been. been talking with the guys on
I,
like Instagram. You know, they like
ah,
reached out and were like, "Hey, what's up, Richie?" And it was like, "Whoa, this is so cool." You know, and I heard they just put out an album not too long ago that I dug a few songs off of. But you know, it's just it's cool to have something that goes back to literally when I was
yeah.
like 4 years old in my career and like where it kind of began.
And did they invite you on on their previous album, Atrophy, or you? Do you invite them in the new album of Incite called Savage New Times? Guess some featurings? Oh,
No, but that's a great idea actually
yeah.
for the next album because I again they were a huge inspiration on my musical career and
Okay.
to see them playing again is just so cool. You know, it's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
my mom managed them back in like 1980 like seven. So it's
Yeah.
what a trip.
Okay, okay. So in the previous album, I make the transition. There was a featuring. It was Max Cavalera on vocals on a song "Worth Soap," if I'm right.
Yeah.
On "Wake Up the Dead," there was a one featuring Max Cavalera. So on
Yep.
the new one, are there seriously, more seriously, guests, some featuring on the new stuff?
No, actually, this is the first album we've done without a guest appearance.
Oh,
Um, I think we really wanted to make sure we knew how good this album was that it had to stand on its own. You
only
know,
you.
like yeah, we didn't want it to be because of some guest or because of this or that. You know, I wanted the band to shine and be the
Yeah.
reason why this album people love it so much. And you
Mhm.
know, that's what's happening. And we'll go back to having fun with that kind of stuff because I do love the camaraderie in metal by doing that.
Ah,
You know,
yeah.
I've always seen, you know, hip hop and you know,
Ah, yeah.
country and rap and all these musics, they always are working together, building these songs, expanding, you know, and I do like that. It's something I think metal needs more of for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Are you still satisfied of Wake Up Dead released in 2022? Because it was a period a bit complicated. It was just after the pandemic, at the end of pandemic, and all the shows, the festival were cancelled or postponed. So you released your new album, your previous album, Wake Up Dead, just after. So to tour, to promote it, and to defend it live, maybe it was a bit
Yeah.
complicated to find some bookings, some shows.
Yeah, it was a pain. You know, we didn't get a tour really at all. We
Okay.
came over in 2023 and did the Cavalera
Yeah.
tour, which was really cool. That was awesome to be a
Okay.
part of that.
Okay.
But that album to me is where the band evolved. You
Yeah.
know, we had this style, I think, on the first, you know, five albums that really just you know, we didn't all write. The guitar players really just kind of controlled how these albums became and what they became. So for
Okay.
now, having Lennon, the drummer, who's been here for years, and you know Lane, our guitar player, come together and write this record, and previously on Wake Up Dead as well, it just
Okay.
began this shift to become what we envision the music to be like, what we feel like it should be, and that's you know a metal band that is heavy, that hits all the notes, hits all the parts, and
Okay.
you feel very fresh organically with this music. And
Mm,
you know, I think
okay.
that's what's changing with this. You know, songs like Dolores, Mental Destruction, we're really pushing the boundaries and showing people that we are very musically attuned.
Okay. And there is only one guitarist in Incite.
Yeah, Lane Richardson,
Len
he's
Richardson
been
replaced Ellie Santana.
yeah, yeah. So Eli, he really
Yeah.
came in to help us. You know, we had lost our guitar player and we needed somebody that was awesome to just kind of fill in the hole.
Mm,
And Eli came in and he's a great friend of ours. And he, you know, from Huntress to Holy Grail to singing for Ignite, he's a hell of a guy. So we
okay.
were honored. And yes, Lane Richardson, Canadian, unknown, amazing badass guitar player. I mean, he rips. He was in France just a couple years ago with us, and you know,
Okay.
put on a hell of a show. The crowd went nuts. You know, we were playing the Moulin Rouge, and that was really cool. What a time, you know, to see all that and take him to see the Eiffel Tower. You know, he was just
Ah,
he was
yeah.
he was blown away because he's from like a little Canadian like farm town, you know. So to
Ah, yeah.
see that was just like boom, you know, his mind was just blown, man. It
Cool.
was so cool.
Ah, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
France is great. France is
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah, and especially since Olympic Games with Gojira. Inside
Yeah.
tomorrow, if Trump asks you to play for Olympic Games in Los Angeles, you accept? Or the
Hey,
organization for USA in
we're
LA?
we're on the right path to that. That would be incredible. What they did for metal and for
Yeah,
France and everything was just absolutely incredible. You know, that was mind blowing, man, and I couldn't believe it.
and
Hopefully, what we need is Hellfest. You know, we have
yeah,
never played Hellfest. That's one of our dreams to be a part
really,
of that.
you never play at
Yes,
Hellfest? Okay. Oh shit.
never, never,
Ask
no, no.
Ben, the boss of the Ben, the director, Ben Barbeau.
So
But
we need insight on Hellfest. Let's go. Let's
okay,
make it happen.
okay, okay. Maybe next year, because I think if some, sometimes people, some artists cancel, so they have to find quickly another band,
Oh
and
yeah.
they have to
Oh
sync
yeah.
you on internet, on YouTube. Is this? I mean, it's sometimes it's like or by network, or by friends,
I
etc.
understand. We're patient. We're very patient. So we'll wait till our turn.
Yeah. Metallica didn't play in Hellfest before 2008, 17 or 18, huh?
It's crazy. Yeah.
Because
Jeez.
because it's Metallica. It's okay.
It's
Let's speak.
it's coming.
Let's go. Let's speak about the new stuff. So it's called Savage New Times. But I wanted to know why this name, Savage New Times, and not New Savage Times. I'm not very good in English, but why Savage New Times? And is there a link with the album of Soulfly, Savages? I like it very much from Max Cavalera.
No, nothing with Soulfly at all.
Okay, okay,
I think this title is way cooler than his personally. But no, we like the wordplay of it and the meaning of it. You know, I think the four members of the band had really went through some intense life trials and periods and struggles, and I think
okay,
it defined all of that, of what this record was about, each guy's emotional ride of creating this, and also an introspect of the times that we are kind of in, this savage new time of the world, of life, of every damn thing going on. So for us, it is a title that just spoke, and I think people take their own interpretations of that title because it's so strong, and the meaning can really be anything to anybody, and that's a special title, and we're
okay.
super pumped.
Okay, and so how do you work in the new with the new team, and especially in the new guitarist? You play guitar. You are able to play guitar. You play guitars with Nailbomb in 1995. Do you bring some riffs, or you just write the lyrics, the vocal lines, and after? How do you work, and especially in this new stuff, Savage New Times?
Yeah, we like each guy to kind of write his own thing. It makes it more
Okay,
his. So the
okay,
drummer's writing drums, but he also writes a lot of guitar, and then
okay,
guitar player writes guitar and drums. So those two are the main music writers and creators.
okay.
They
It helps.
they do a
Okay,
lot of that. And then lyrics is fully me. So once there's music and everything, I sit down and I digest, myself into these songs, and create what we have as Savage New Times. And the process for us is very, very fun, very smooth, very together. Everybody's involved. Everybody's,
yeah. In
it's not
the
just one guy doing it all and saying, here, this is what you play. It's
okay.
it's everybody creating opinions and getting the best results of the music. So everybody's happy as a band, and
And
that's cool.
you can write some lyrics when you tour. For example, in the tour bus, you write all the times, or just where you
All
are
the
in
time.
the all the time.
All the time. I
Okay,
think like I've used lyrics as like my mental health release, and I
yeah,
think every time an album finishes, I start writing and writing and writing all day, just every day. If I hear something, think of something, see something, I write it down. And when I
mm,
go in to make the record, I take all those notes and everything I've been through and put it all together, and
okay.
create this
And
journey.
what does inspire you? For example, Wake Up Dead. It was maybe after the pandemic to say to people, "Wake up, dead," or wake up if you are alive. And especially, and now the new one. What does inspire you by the news in
Uh,
on TV?
Wake Up Dead was more, that was a punchline that we came up with when we were driving. It'd be like,
Okay,
our bass player was really scary when he drove. So we'd be like, oh, we're going to wake up dead. And it just kind of felt like this really cool topic of coming out of, yes, COVID and this
yeah,
zombieism. You have a
yeah,
song like Deadbeat that is literally about just sitting on your couch smoking weed during the pandemic and doing nothing. So we touched a little bit on that, but I think most records to me are about, social issues and personal life.
okay,
That's what I formulate my themes, my creations for lyrics. It's It's what's happening to me. My life is never, very calm or peaceful or good things happening. There's always something crazy going on. And, I've been able to harness that and put it into lyrics and produce a really unique style on these
Yeah.
past two records, especially. I think people notice the lyrics more, they notice the vocal performance more. So,
Yeah.
each guy has grown and grown and grown and gotten better and better, and our processes are just really refined now to work the best for us.
And you worked once again. You worked with Steve Evans, who produced, recorded Health Crisis, Sepultura, a lot of bands. So what? Yeah, it's a good cocktail with Adam on the mix. It with Adam Risk
Yeah,
also. You
yeah,
find the good
yep.
cocktail for the sound for to find your sound for Insight.
Yeah, I think
You reach it.
Steve Evans, it's his fourth album now with us.
Yeah.
So it's always been this great camaraderie. And as the band's grown and gotten better, so has he with us. Each record has gotten better with him. Each record has
Yeah.
become something more
Yeah.
than the previous. And with this one, it was like everybody was perfect. We brought him the right songs, we brought him the right feel, the right anger, aggression. And it just he was dialed in, and the sound I think on this record is
Oh yeah.
some of the best on a record in a while. It is
Yeah.
superb, especially like the guitar tone,
Yeah. Yeah.
unbelievable.
What's the guitar tuning?
Unbelievable.
What is the guitar tuning? You play in a C maybe?
I I, I think it's C
C
most
sharp.
of this album. Most of this
Okay.
album, maybe like
Yeah.
one or two songs are a different tuning, but it's mostly that. Yeah.
The songs are very direct, huh? Very and the riff very very trash, very straight, very
Yeah.
and raw. It's a goal.
Yeah.
You wanted 10 tracks and very
Yeah, just really
powerful.
right to the point. I think we cut off all the stuff that we don't do
Ah,
good. We
yeah.
got rid of the things that, didn't help us in the past, and really created our formula that it just feels really good. It's intense.
Yeah.
It's catchy. It makes
Yeah.
people want to listen again and again and again. It's very cool like that and addicting. And I love that kind of music, especially metal that can do that
Yeah.
too.
And Savage New Time songs are really efficient and made for live impact for stage.
Yeah,
You
a
you
hundred
think all
percent.
that?
That's what we do good.
Yeah,
We've always been a great live band, and this is like that first record where we capture what we do live on a record in terms of how the songs are written, how they're feeling, how their
yeah,
energy is. It's completely that. So I'm happy that you feel that and see
oh
that
yeah,
too, because that was definitely what
yeah.
we wanted on this record.
Now tell me more about the single. There is a single just already released, Just a Rat, from Savage New Times. And after, could you tell me more about the song in the middle of the album? Enfin, middle, sixth song, Dolores, in the with introduction in that piano. First, Just a Rat, and could you tell me more about the Dolores, and especially in the lyrics because you wrote them?
Yeah, Just a Rat is an intense, uh, very upbeat song, very in your face,
Oh,
very
yeah.
powerful. I think the lyrics uh, remind me of something like suicidal tendencies, kind of,
Ah,
this very kind of
yeah.
rap, but not fully very
Yeah.
talking to the
Yeah.
directness of it,
Hip hop
and
influences.
yeah, it has a good
Crossover.
bob to it,
Yeah.
and I think um, it's about just shitty people. I think we all encounter someone that we can relate to, like a rat, a thieving rat, stealing the cheese. That to me was like this define of this song. And I've had plenty of those people come into my life and just try to take and take and take and take. And
Ah,
this is what it related to me, like just being a rat all the time. And I think people will be able to relate to that and feel exactly what I'm saying and understand that feeling that was going on in me during that song. But I think live it's going to be unbelievably massive for
yeah.
hits and festivals and things like that. And then you have a song like Dolores that's completely opposite of what Just a
Yeah.
Rat is. Dolores opens with Lane playing a beautiful piano into a very cool black metal riff,
Ah, yeah.
into
Yeah.
this very
Very
dark,
dark.
doomy, haunting kind of feel. And Again, it just comes back to us being a band that can pull things from everywhere and make it into a heavy vibe and come across not as like some certain direction, just an overall feel. And
And
Dolores
yeah,
comes from a dream I had as a child. You know, it would happen over and over and over, and for years. And you know, when I
okay.
got older, I started seeing this name Dolores everywhere I went, from being the name of a town or a book or a movie, or it was
Dolores
just everywhere. Yeah.
O'Riordan, the singer, the female singer of the Cranberries, but she's dead.
I mean, yes, I get another one. You
Yeah.
know, it just was everywhere. So I contributed with this dream I had to create the
Okay.
lyrical theme and this song. And you know, I think listeners are really appealing to it. I think we all have struggled or had a haunting feeling in the night that we've all went through, and this song
Yeah.
portrays to that.
Maybe it will be the next single with a video, music video on YouTube or not from Savage New Times. Dolores,
Uh,
it will
the
be a new
the next
next
one is
single.
going to be Lies, the opening track.
The open track. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
the first one. Okay, okay. But Dolores,
yeah.
Dolores, could you could be able to play it live with a keyboard?
The piano, one day we'll have it drop out of the roof and fall down, and then Lane
Oh,
can sit there and play it. But I think to be feasible for
oh
how,
yeah.
you know, we don't have the money for a budget or things like that, so we would just play it as an intro, you know, and
Oh,
then
intro,
perform the
yeah, or
song.
intro, outro,
Yeah,
outro at the end of the show, but
yeah,
playback. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
samples. Okay, okay,
But
okay.
we will definitely play that because it is an amazing song. I think that people will be able to
Yeah.
connect with. You know,
Okay, it's a very nice song. I like it very much.
thank you.
I was surprised. And yeah, on stage, are you going to hire to recruit a second guitarist to play live, or like
Oh no, no,
Pantera
no.
just for?
We've always been a four-piece band.
Okay,
You know, someone like Lane, he's able to handle what we
yeah,
need live, so it is live. And then L, being the incredible bass player and how hard he hits, it becomes like a second guitar, like
yeah.
for solos and those kind of things. So no,
Okay,
we like the four-piece. We think that that is who we are, what we are, and how we enjoy the stage and the feel of the tracks coming across.
okay, okay. To conclude quickly, I say that before that, yeah, you play a kind of thrash, groove metal, etc. But we have, journalists, we like to put stickers. But
Oh yeah.
how do you think, do you see the evolution, according to you, of this kind of music created 20 years ago and more by Sepultura, Devil
Oh
Driver,
yeah.
Lamb of
Oh yeah.
God, and now you, Alien Weaponry from New Zealand, and bands like you, Nino also, etc. How do you see the future of that? Because it's a crossover, in fact.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think something with Incite is we'll be able to attract people from all sorts of things. You know,
Yeah.
we've done tours with black metal bands, and we've done tours with like Cancer Bats, who are like
Ah,
kind of,
yeah.
you know, heavy, you know,
Okay.
indie vibes. So
Yeah.
I think for us, we're able to just hit every genre of person, and they can come to Incite and always find
Yeah.
something that can make them become a listener or a fan. So
Yeah.
that's how we've grown. I think
Yeah.
when we first started, our first album was very metalcore kind of
Yeah.
feel to
Yeah.
me, you
Yeah.
know, and then kind of a little more thrashy as we went along, and then kind
Oh,
of added the groove in very heavily. And you know, I think now it's just taking all of those kind of things and producing, you know, savage new times that you have now. So
okay.
uh people are gonna dig this, man. It's a fresh record. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
everything kind of to me right now is getting very simultaneously the same, you know,
Yeah.
and this kind of breaks that mold of that
Yeah.
that common theme that metal's kind of falling into right now. So
Okay.
hopefully people will get it and see what's going on.
Okay. Now, when can we hope to see you live in Europe and especially in France with Incite? And very last question, if you want to add something about Savage New Times. And very last question, can we hope to see you live with Nailbomb? We just reformed, you just
Oh,
reformed Nailbomb next August at Motoculture Festival in France, because I'm going to see, to go to this festival, Motoculture Festival, and Nailbomb is going to play with you on guitar as guitarist, maybe?
so no, I'm not going to be doing the Nailbomb tour.
Oh,
Unfortunately, they're going out doing kind of this punk thing, and I'm all for it. I have a couple tours back in America that I have to
ok.
do.
Ouais,
So
d'accord.
Incite is getting very busy right now, but I
Ouais,
would love to see that, or experience one of those shows. Those are going to be cool. And
ok.
as far as this album, I want everybody to go listen. We have songs on YouTube, we have videos, we have it on Spotify and Apple Music, and everywhere that you can get music, it is there. Check it out. Show your friends. Spread the word. August 15th comes out everywhere worldwide, and then music will forever be different after that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, Savage New Times available on Raining Phoenix Music, famous label now with Kerry King, etc., etc.
Meshuggah and
Sugar, yeah, Opeth,
yeah,
etc., etc. A lot of
yeah,
stuff, and Lordi, well, a lot of bands. Okay, I thank you very much for this your time for this interview. Honestly, it was a cool moment. And take care, Richie, and we hope to see you live in France, everywhere. It's the best we can wish you.
definitely. Thank you, Fred. Have a great
Bye bye.
night, and I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, have a good day. Bye bye, Richie. Thank you very much.
Later.